Blogging. It tends to get pushed to the side. It feels time-consuming, it's not always flashy, and if we're being honest, it's one of the first things clients question when it shows up in a proposal. We hear it all the time. Do we really need this? Or is blogging actually worth paying for? And the hesitation makes sense. Blogging doesn't give you instant results. It's not as obvious as a new website or a paid ad campaign. But here's what we've seen time and time again. Businesses that commit to blogging build more visibility, show up more on Google, and create a steady stream of traffic without having to constantly pay for it. In this episode, we're breaking down how blogging actually impacts SEO, why it works, and why it might be one of the most cost-effective ways to grow your presence online when it's done right. Welcome to Behind the Brand, the podcast for small business owners, solopreneurs, and aspiring entrepreneurs who are ready to start strong, stand out, and stay bold. Each week, we'll take you behind the scenes to explore what it takes to build a memorable brand and grow a successful business. Are you ready to get behind the brand? Let's dive in. Hello, Moxieverse. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand. Taylor and Kelly jumping in to talk about blogging. Dun, dun, dun.
Blogs.
So this kind of goes in line with our episode that we released 2 weeks ago on Google reviews, because Kelly and I have just been diving in a lot deeper to search engine optimization, all things
Online presence.
Yeah, online presence, how GEO is coming into play. And I thought, well, now's the time to talk about blogs, because we're doing some things in our own brain as we are like rewiring and rethinking how we structure websites and the role that blogs are playing. I think we've always preached to our clients that it is important, and if you're going to have a website, you should have a blog section, and you should be regularly posting blogs. And I mean, regularly can be once a month, right? That does not mean every day. That does not mean every week.
Right.
Once
a month's a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. We've always preached that it's important, and I think we're seeing now really how important it is. So hopefully we can touch on some things that our listeners take away and they'll say, okay, yeah, I think maybe now is the time to get this rolling.
Right. And I'm in the process of rebuilding a blog for a client.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Of course, we absolutely can. That's been a beast. But let's just go over kind of the basics. So blogging is important because it directly can impact your SEO. So just a few stats. So companies that have a blog have about 55% more website visitors than those that don't. And websites with blogs have 400% more index pages.
Wow.
On Google. So that's like a big chunk.
Content.
Yeah. And I think, well, let's just say, when I graduated college, I think the thing was always content was king. And it feels like, well, maybe that's like gone. It felt like maybe for a few years that kind of went away, and we were focusing more like on design, and now I think we're coming back to that, like where it.
Oh, I've seen everything come full circle and back again.
Yeah, where like it was like content was queen for a while, I think, and now it's like it's king again, and those numbers
but content
to me
can mean so many different
things.
Right.
Right.
I mean, video is everything.
Yeah.
No one wants to read.
Right.
Everyone wants to watch it.
Right.
Oh, wait, words are important
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the truth is, people might not be reading your blog, but it is the way that they're finding you. So
the robots are reading it.
So Google ranks pages, not just websites. So the pages that you have on your site can also be ranked, and it goes into all those things that we talked about for your Google quality score. So every blog that you post on your website is a new page, i.e. a new opportunity to show up in search. And there's strategy around how you title a blog and, the keywords that you put into your blog, etc., to make your blog seem like this is the authority on whatever subject people are searching for. So more content, more keywords, more visibility, all of those things. So
I think that's what stresses people out. Like, I don't write blogs thinking about all that. That sounds hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
Okay.
And I think people get in their heads like, I'm not a writer, I'm not whatever. But I think there's a lot of resources these days where, you could.
But you're the expert in your field, and that's all you're doing is sharing a point of view or sharing some information.
Yeah.
Educational,
exactly.
Okay.
So blogging directly impacts your SEO, bottom line.
You're also just adding new content to your website, so it's not a static website, and that wakes up Google too.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've been getting so many calls and inbounds and emails about people saying my SEO is shite. And I was.
But it used to be good.
Right. I was on this page, and now I'm on this page. first thing I want to ask is, do you have blogs?
Yeah.
Are you updating your blog regularly?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, it's kind of like, well, that's a really easy way that we can help get you some extra added visibility.
Right. And, when we tell these clients, we can write them for you and put them up and you can just approve it. Or we can make you a list and you can write
Yeah.
it. It's just whatever we can do to make it easier for them. It's the consistency that's the problem. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think blogging works, and I've thought this before we have gotten into kind of what I feel like is this like new era of how we're doing websites and thinking about
Right.
online content. Because people aren't just always searching for a business. Sometimes they're searching for an answer to a question, and then maybe through that answer that you've just provided through your blog, you've established some trust because, hey, they fixed their problem. Well, maybe when that problem comes up again and it's a little bit bigger and the answer that you provided the first time isn't going to work again, and they actually do need you to come out and check on their furnace because they can't fix it themselves through your little blog that you did.
And I think that's where a lot of business owners get hung up. It's like, so blog should really be educational. And I think what I used to have a problem with, well, I don't feel like I'm the expert and I don't know everything, so I can't write anything. And the point is you're just sharing some knowledge. Same thing with social media.
Right.
It's supposed to be, somewhat educational. But I think a lot of business owners are so focused on that sale. It's like, I'm not giving away my information.
Right.
Buy something from me.
Yeah.
The point of this online stuff is to give a little, to get a
get a
little.
lot.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
right.
You know what I mean? You got to give some information away. You don't have to give away the whole farm. But, how to compare, which furnace is best for me.
Right.
Great blog.
Right.
And then when I need it, guess what? The one I'm going to say is really great is the one I carry, and you're going to come take it from me, and or whatever. It might repeat some keywords you already have on your website, but that helps too. It's not redundant. It like reinforces and things like that.
Yeah, it's showing your authority.
Right. So what I'm doing, I didn't realize, so this is my new found realization, is that there's a whole blog SEO strategy that I'm learning about.
And it's different than
what I learned originally. Yeah.
Right, and like a little bit different than kind of your traditional website SEO strategy.
Similar, but it's almost treating the blog as a separate website.
As its own little website.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm almost embarrassed to talk about it because maybe everybody else knew this and I just didn't. But
I don't think so.
I think we wrote blogs. One thing I really liked about a client we've had, when you first started about 5 years ago, for this client that I've had forever, and we would write blogs. We would just write blogs about like what's new and what's happening at this place, which is legit. But you said you would look at the Google Analytics and say, people are asking about this. We should write a blog about it because they're looking for that content. So you saw the search words and realized we didn't have a lot of content in that area. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. That's awesome. To know, that's one thing, right? You can look at your Google Analytics and say, people are searching for this. Great, we have a page, but we had more information on it. Maybe they'd stay on your website longer. So if people could stay on your website a minute, minute and a half, that's actually a really good number, right? So what I'm doing for this client, so what happened is a current client of ours had a couple different other marketing companies that they worked with, and they had started a blog on their website. So we did a new website for them, and we just carried things over.
Yep.
And a lot of them are really short and repetitive.
Well, because they had a different company writing the blogs.
Yes.
Then we were writing the blogs, and now they have a whole new website. So everything's just kind of a jumbled mess.
Exactly. Which is, it's not a terrible thing. Some of those blogs, I'm sure, are indexing. But it's a mess. Some of them are not long enough. The first thing I did was I went through and I got rid of these trends for 2022. So you don't want to date anything like that. If you are, you need to update it every year. I took some of those down. I organized the blogs into categories, which I thought was very interesting. It helps people find, are you looking for something about this or this? Or
Yeah,
so
I like that.
4 categories, almost like a mini website.
Right.
And then during my research, it said I should have cornerstone blogs. So those are like more in-depth guides, like your guide to this and this. Maybe for us, we'd have a guide to, a news business guide to branding or something.
Yeah.
It's called a cornerstone because then you'd have, maybe a couple cornerstone blogs in each category. My client has 4 categories. Doing my research says I should have a couple, maybe cornerstones in each category. And then the supporting blogs link back to it. Almost how you would internally link a website.
Right.
Which I'm just learning about too. So I'm like, well, what about all these other blogs? And it was like, well, combine these and rewrite that. And really, honestly, I think I'm going to start over. But I'm not going to tear it all down right now because I am concerned about if these are ranking in the SEO and stuff. So I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. I think you and I talked about let's write those cornerstone blogs and then, so I think throughout the rest of this year, we're going to get that in tip-top shape.
Yeah.
When I put this through some AI and some scanning tools, it said that the blog was overbuilt but under-optimized. So we think more the better.
Right.
More the better, more the better. We had a lot of blogs about the same subject, but none of them were in depth or whatever. So I'm looking at I think about, it's like 30 blogs total that it should have. And not that I'll never add any more than that, but I think right now they have like 67
Sure.
blogs. And that was just too much, but at the same time, not enough in-depth information.
Yeah.
There's a strategy to what you should do and help. And it's all about the decision-making process. So really, what should you have in your blog? It just helps people, gives them the information about your industry to help them make a decision really to hire you.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be overly promotional, 10 ways Moxie Creative, those are more promotional ones
Right.
can help you.
Right.
It's more of, should be educational. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm sitting here because I'm learning and
I know.
it's blowing my mind. And I kind of go back to when you were like, I'm embarrassed to talk about this because it does feel like, oh, no, we should have known this. But I think things are just
Evolving.
It's constantly changing. And what kind of marketers would we be if we didn't stay on top of those things and take the time to be willing to learn and evolve on our own? Just because this is the way we've done it for so long doesn't mean that that's the way that it should be done now. And I think in the last year, I think we've just seen the digital world change so
Right.
much. So it's not content for the sake of content. There needs to be
A strategy.
behind it.
Just
for
like
sure.
everything else that
For
we
sure.
do.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking about this, and all I want to do is just go scrub the Moxie blog.
But
and
you
just,
can't
I
because
know,
it might be indexing.
I know. I just want to but I want to
But we can organize it, yeah.
and make it nice because I'm like, oh my god, it's probably just such a mess right now.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I should be doing this for myself. And then I'm like, we don't have any reviews. And I haven't put in any new pages up in the last year because we've been so busy. And I'm like, we're our worst client.
Oh, funny.
Right.
So we mentioned it a little bit, but why do you think most businesses steer clear of blogs?
Time and knowledge. The thing is, too, is that we're in Minnesota and we're in rural Minnesota, pretty much. St. Cloud's pretty rural. Everyone's modest, like I said. Well, I'm not the expert. I'm not going to do that. I don't know how to do with that, And then we talk about, we should know this. We don't have a lot of clients that will really let us dive deep into this, where we're totally redoing this website, and there's a monthly blog budget, there's a monthly reviews budget. We actually get to, dive in deeper. And what I'm so excited about is to see their organic search engine rankings come up, but it'll also, if I do this right, lower their cost for their paid advertising. That all works together. And they also pay for an SEO budget,
Right.
every month. So I just think it's the time and it's money. We could do it for you. Well, we could hire an assistant. We don't need to, to do that. And so it's just, I think, a lack of knowledge, time constraints, budget constraints. But we are seeing people calling us more and more about this. I just think AI has changed SEO so much.
We got another inbound today,
I
and
know,
it
because
says SEO.
And then when we explain what it costs and how much we have to do, not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
I feel really bad. Right now it's spring in Minnesota, and so all the billboards and the radio ads are this lawn company, this garden center, these seasonal contractors, these independent guys that might have a few employees. I feel like those are the businesses that are going to get squeezed out.
Yeah.
They're not in business all year. They don't have maybe big budgets for marketing.
And there's a lot of them.
Yes.
So it's competitive. So when you're going on
Right.
to Google and you're punching this in, and maybe their reviews aren't in tip-top shape, or they don't have a blog, or their website's lacking, it's
or a radio
one
station did their
pager.
website,
Yeah.
and it's 10 years old.
yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, we've seen that happen,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's really going to hurt the little guys,
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I hope people are listening and they're listening to you talk and all the things that you just talked about revamping this blog. And I know that that's not the norm. I understand that. That's not usually the clients that we're getting that are approaching us. But all the things that you mentioned, I mean, that's a ton of time that's going into it to do it well and to do it right. And so, Yeah, there is going to be some cost associated with it, but it is going to help you. And,
Yeah.
you have to.
SEO is an investment.
It is an
But it's
investment.
investment, but it's something you're going to pay that forever and ever. It's just Google's just so competitive now, and all your competitors are, if they're outspending you, outbidding you,
Yeah.
and it really starts with the website, right? That's why we're redoing websites, and then you have to market that website, and it's just,
Yeah.
it's like you have your business, your physical business, and then you have your online business.
Yeah. I think a lot of people look at like a website and it's like, oh, it's a one and done
Yeah, I
kind
did
of
that. I
thing.
redid that 5 years ago.
Yeah. Or
Living,
even I redid that a year ago. And I mean, hey, let's just be open and transparent. We have a client that we built a website for a year ago, and we have been going in and doing a few housekeeping things because he felt like his SEO had dropped. That I think is just the perfect picture of how quickly things change in the web world, because when we launched it with best practices at that time. And now best practices have changed so much.
well, Google changes their mind every other day.
Right, exactly. So unfortunate, but having a website is just not enough anymore.
No, it's not. And then consumers change. I think I've told this story a million times about how, with the first agency that we had, I did not think we were an advertising agency. We call ourselves a creative agency, a marketing agency, a whatever agency. So the word advertising was not even on our website. And when we looked at our Google, what people are searching for is advertising.
Right.
Whether I think it's my name or not,
Right.
I didn't have that on our site, so we weren't showing
Right.
up. So the search terms that people use change all the time. And now what Google's doing, it's not just words, it's phrases.
Yeah, absolutely.
Show me a marketing agency in central Minnesota that does this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And so it's those narrative, even voice
Right.
search.
Yeah.
So you've got someone rambling.
Right. Absolutely. And, Google's AI, that's just automatically built in. Like maybe you can opt out of it. I don't know, but it's just there.
Yeah, I know.
People have to face the reality of that. I think a lot of
A
people.
lot of times it's not right.
Right. I think a lot of people are using ChatGPT as a search engine or a brainstorm engine, or hey, I'm thinking about this.
Hey, a good practice for a business owner, go on chat and ask. You can ask about your business or ask about your industry.
Right.
Who would you recommend in St.
Yeah.
Cloud?
Because you can help change that.
Yeah. Yeah, but it'll tell you, like, if, let's say they recommend a competitor and they'll tell you why. You're like, ooh,
Yeah.
maybe I should write more about that on my site.
Right. Okay. So if someone came to us today and they said, my SEO is tanking, and we say, okay, do you have a blog? They say no. We recommend that they do that, but they don't have the budget to hire us to do it. What are some things that you would encourage them to do with their blog to get started, to help give them that confidence to do it?
I think they could put their URL into chat and ask them, say, recommend 10 blogs I could write, so that you can usually, most website, you can add a blog, or you can hire someone like us to add the actual page to your website. But a lot of the website builders have a blog function. But if you don't know what to write about, you do some research and you can just ask AI, what do you think I should
Look
write
at your
about?
Google Analytics. I think that's a great idea.
Yep. Look, think about questions your customers ask you and try to answer them.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have we answered that question? Well, let's put that on your website.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like the last blog I wrote for Moxie was about SEO and GEO because that's what we have been getting slammed with.
Organic or paid search, which one's better? You can do this service versus this service. I think that's just an easy one.
Yeah, the trends.
Yeah.
I feel like trends are pretty.
Yeah, I'd be careful about dating anything on your blog, but don't put years in there.
Sure.
And stuff. Yeah.
But
I mean, you could take a question from each of your services and you'd have a year's worth of blogs.
Right.
Let's say it is a seasonal business, and in the fall you do this, and
why spring cleanup or fall cleanup is important for your yard, or
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you really don't know where to start, chat will give you a whole list.
Right. And
tell you the best converting ones.
Yeah.
And also tell you, I think we should talk about length of blogs too.
Sure.
I don't know I think for the cornerstone blogs, those big ones, they were telling me 2,000 words.
Yeah. That makes sense though. If you're approaching it more of like, this is a guide, I think that does make sense. I usually around.
It's a content page. It's not just a little, this is what I think about this.
I do about 900 to 1,200 words is usually
that's
my
probably pretty good for a supporting
spot.
blog. Yeah, it changes every day. Let's talk about that again. Let's back up about how things keep changing. I mean, I remember the day when we would write so much for websites, and Michael can attest to this. And then it was like, nobody's reading, show me infographics. And then nobody's reading, I want to see a video. And so, I mean, I spent the last 10 years cutting copy from
Yeah.
websites.
Yeah.
Cutting.
Now, the last 3 websites we've done, it's like, oh my God, that's so much text.
And now we're back to parent pages, child pages, and this whole big sitemap. I think I had 26 pages on that first client's website, and I think we're going to end up at 50, not including the blog, and so it's just, you got to have an overview page, and then you explain the page more, and then you have another supporting page for that page, and that is everything.
And if they have a service area, you're writing a page for every service area.
Yeah. I had to totally unlearn everything I learned the last 10 years. Like, I feel like I'm finally old enough that I'm seeing things like come again.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And people are like, why are you doing that? No one's going to read that. It's not for
It's
anyone
not
to read.
not for
It is not for you.
Yeah, the consumer.
I mean, it is for search. And so to me, that is just so counterintuitive compared to where we've been.
Yeah, I think that's a good point of why, like, okay, the words are for the robots and the design is for the consumer, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Like, because
You still have to package these words and
Right.
have to look good.
right. And
We're
like,
not just
and like the bigger site that I just did, it was for a restoration company, and they're, service based, and so it's a big chunky
They need a
meaty
blog.
site. They have so many service areas, and
Yeah, it's a big site,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's so funny because we actually built a landing page for them in December. And I thought, well, then we'll use that as the homepage, and then we'll just be able to build off of that. That was my original plan. By the beginning of February, that whole plan had gone out the window, and it was like scrapping every idea, every thought that I had that we were going to do for this website, and it's now going to be this. And we kind of had a backlog of sites, and so we didn't really get to fully touch it until that like mid-February. But I'm so glad that we actually had that window, because
we learned from that other client.
right. Yeah, we were able to be like, oh shit, okay, this is actually how this site needs to be. And what they ended up with is a way better
Right.
end product, right?
Right. But I mean, even you could build, like you said, build the best website, but it's that constant SEO that is important. And there's a lot of things that go into that.
Yeah.
That's another episode I think we've already done.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Backlink.
That's good for SEO.
Yeah. Oh, right. Well, wonderful. I don't know if I have anything else to add. I feel like this was a good conversation. I was actually writing some blogs for a website yesterday, a different new website yesterday, and I was like, I'm so excited about this. It's
Yeah.
exciting because I feel like I'm not just writing for the sake of writing, which I do love to do, but like, I know if we put this on their site, they're going to
Okay.
benefit from
Okay,
it.
so then you have to link from the blogs to some service pages,
Yep.
and you have to link from the service pages to the blogs. Not a million.
Right.
I also learned this, is that a couple here, I'm like, oh my gosh. there's so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. That site, I was going through kind of starting on some of the pages, and I was like, oh my God, I'm just going to do that once the site is up, because I can't visualize anything. It's just a Word doc right now. There's
Right.
no pages that are live, and I'm just putting in the comments, link to this page, LinkedIn. Like, this
Well,
is
and
stupid.
that's what an SEO service will do too, is that they'll add the links when they go back through and scan the site. So I'm working on this, like, back to my original client. We launched the site with 26 pages. Since then, I think I've got like another 25 that Michael's building.
Right.
Taking a while. Meanwhile, I have our SEO partner is going through and scanning that every couple weeks in case I'm messing anything
Right.
up. I mean, they usually do it monthly, but they're doing it a little bit more for me now because I'm making so many changes. It's a constant service that you need, if you believe that people are Googling you and that's how you're getting business, which they are.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So now this summer we got to redo our stuff
I know.
or add to it.
Yeah,
We have a good foundation.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's messy right now, so I'm excited.
The blog?
Yeah.
I'm just talking about even the content
Oh, yeah.
pages.
Our whole site.
Because now it's
Moxie 3.0.
it never ends.
Maybe we can submit that for Addie's too.
Not too many words for that.
Soon people are going to be like, get that website out of here. Oh, funny. Well, thanks for enlightening me and teaching me. It's been fun. You're teaching me a lot of stuff, and like,
I know, it's
hey,
been
you gotta
overwhelming
look at this,
for
you gotta
me.
look at that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, okay.
I wanted somebody else to do it, but there was no one left, so I had to do it. I hate learning new things.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to this week's episode. Hope that you learned some awesome stuff about blogging. And if you're out there and you're struggling with SEO and just need some guidance, or you would like us to, help you out with those things, we would absolutely be honored to do it. We're learning a lot, and we're putting a lot of really great things out into the universe for our clients, and would love the opportunity to do the same for some of you. Yeah. So, all right. See you next week on Behind the Brand.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Behind the Brand. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend. If you didn't, share it with an enemy. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To stay connected, follow us at the links in the show notes below.